out our new merch store at www.ShotOfFactsPodcast.com, where you can find our merch with shirts dedicated to each episode you love. Check it out today and support the Shot of Facts merch.
If I'm making any sense.
Let's switch this whole conversation around now.
Okay.
What are some similarities that you guys have noticed about each of the three cultures?
Well, first of all, I want to give shout outs to Ghana Jollof. Way better than Nigerian Jollof, you know what I'm saying? So
we said similarities, you over here adding separate stuff.
Right.
Ain't nobody talking about rice.
Food.
You know, Ghana Jollof, it is the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But look, y'all about to have a bunch of angry Nigerians.
Right. I'm sorry, y'all, because I do have some listeners from Nigeria. Okay. Sorry, y'all.
No, Nigerians and Ghanaians, we're brothers, you know what I'm saying? But they know the truth, you know. But I think when it comes to similarities, definitely food. Like I was surprised to see I was in New Orleans with some friends and they have something called jambalaya that has some similarities to jollof rice, you know what I'm saying? I was like, ooh, okay, interesting. And I think even Black African Americans do have a lot of similarities in how we even prepare our food compared to, you know, our Caucasian brothers and sisters.
Well, yeah, that's just Black people as a collective. Like, you know, we wash our meat, you know.
I know white people that wash their meat too, just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but that's not like a collective thing that they do. Like, oh my God, I had so many conversations about this at work. We don't agree with that.
Well, for me, I've noticed, at least from, especially with Afrobeat and like Caribbean soca, the music is very similar. Like to the point where I'm having a hard time. Like I got to look at the artist like, okay, is this soca or is this Afrobeat? And now they're starting to blend together. And then you could also see how African music has turned into hip hop, because all of it, we as Black people, we all got that thing for like the bass, the like, doom, 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 doom. And we all praise the same. We all are lively when it comes to praising the Lord or whoever we worship. And what else?
Yeah, you definitely touch on food, music. I think one also thing that's like similar is also the language,
right? Language
and like origin of a language, because like you would have, let's say, rice and beans in Ghana called wache, and you go to Jamaican or Caribbean spot and they don't call it wache, but it's, you know, rice and peas, but it's very similar. Or like fried plantain, we might do it in a different, they might call it plantain. And I was like, oh, okay. And I had seen this documentary where this guy was supposed to be from, you know, Ghana or whatever, and he had some relatives that would move to like an island. I don't know if it was Jamaica or Seychelles, but they had a root language, and when he could understand some of the things that they were saying on the island, he didn't even know that they had that, you know, similarity right there. So I guess there's definitely a lot of similarities in the culture between Africans and Caribbean people, more than African people even know, and more than some Caribbeans even know. And you do have even with Patois and how Patois traversing Pidgin English, very similar. Like it's very easy for me to pick up words in Patois and understand what they be saying compared to, you know, an African American or a white person, and vice versa.
Fun fact, well, it's not fun, but the reason that is because in America, the slaves were able to breed. They were, you know, there were slaves that were born on the plantation. In the Caribbean, they were worked to death. And then they just brought more people in from West Africa. So when they were freed or whatever, they still had like the African accents, the whole culture pretty much, but they were turning it into like Caribbean, you know, blending the cultures. Same with religion out there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a blend of Christianity and the Yoruba religion. Because when I was in New York, we went to a church like that, and we were not worshiping, but the deities included like Shango, Oshun, but we were still talking about like God. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they blended it. So instead of like Saint Michael and stuff, it's Oshun and Shango.
Right. As I can say for African Americans, I think some of our similarities is more like style, hairstyles, like head wraps, for example, or locks, or how we dance. I see a lot of similarities in like how all three cultures dance. As far as food, like you mentioned, like what New Orleans style food and like Ghanaian style, like it's bits and pieces of every little, every culture into African American culture. I think, in my opinion.
I can agree with that, especially since like sometimes African American, that could be anybody and come from when you check a box. So like Kendrick Lamar, I think he's like part Haitian or something. So you never know who influenced like music or so it ends up blending.
Very,
and
very great point.
But let me ask you something. Like in the census, for example, because I can't really. It doesn't say like the nationalities.
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
and it's a thing that I had a problem with sometimes filling out a form. You gonna have, it's gonna be black. They don't even have black. It's African American or Mexican or Latino or whatever. I always chose African American. And the funny thing was that when I did that, my African people would be like, "Bro, you want an African American? Why are you choosing that?" I'm like, "Bro, from the options here, what do you think I'm gonna choose?"
Right.
Like other and say I'm from Africa, bro. Like we the same people.
Because if you think about it, if a white South African were to come to America and have kids, they would be African American, would they not?
I mean, technically.
They'll probably check Caucasian
on paper.
But true that. I mean, they might be Caucasian, but they are African because they are from South Africa.
Exactly. Or Jace's mom is a white woman, even though she's dark skinned. She for the longest used to check white, and how can you tell her not? Because her mother's white.
Exactly. Or even Australians, people, the Virgins who are black. They African, but he's black.
Right.
So one of my last questions for both of you guys is, with everything that we talked about, what are ways that we can come together more as a collective and bridge this gap between all three different cultures?
I would think.
You want to go?
Okay. I would think doing like more research, getting a better understanding of all the cultures, make different friends outside of your circles, read.
Yes, it's fundamental.
Little things like, for me, I feel like I learned so much from watching African movies, even though like sometimes I don't understand everything. And sometimes, I'm sure they're like feeding to some of the stereotypes just to make a dollar, but it's still like, you can see how their movies are different from Black movies and how both movies are different from Caribbean movies. So yeah, I think just get yourself out there and learn stuff.
I think it's definitely education across board and in different levels of that, because context is always important. When you don't have the context, you just merely stating your opinion and that's it. Not being open-minded to receive what's happening from the other person's end at the end of the day. And it will surprise you how much of a thing that you don't know when you just allow yourself and give that chance. Especially with like African immigrants out here. Some African immigrants that come out here and create microcosms of Africa out here. They have like, a few African American friends or a few white friends, but beyond everything they do, it's just like how they do it in Ghana. And I be telling some of my friends, I literally go to New York and see some friends of mine, and bro, they're living in Ghana in New York. Like you get into the house, the music, the radio, the TV station, everything is Ghanaian. You know what I'm saying? So even though they might be in America, and some of the kind of things that even influences the African American, which includes them, they kind of distance themselves from it. If you got pulled over by a cop, you ain't gonna be like Ghanaian, you Black. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that you embrace these things and challenge some of the stereotypes, especially the negative stereotypes, because some of us that come out here to like I'm like I have 2 masters. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people that come out here are school scholars. You know what I'm saying? So they tend to think that, oh, okay, if I have a PhD, it separates me or puts me on a higher pedestal, but it really don't. We all the same. We all Black, and it's crazy to think that we might be out here and we don't allow ourselves to be, together. We try to look at things that put us together than things that bring us to,
I know this was a closing question, but I just wanted to comment on that. another reason why people from out of the country are way easier to get better educations is because those educations are funded because they're trying to bring like you guys over compared to
That is very true.
Compared to Americans, you know, you gotta basically be you know, have my dad was shot right in front of me and blah 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 blah, but I got straight A's
exactly anyway, so we escape all the trauma that you guys go through, all the hurdles that you guys are supposed to go over. We literally just skip. So I could definitely see that. That's why I'm saying that, like, so how do I know those things? How do you know those things? It's me as being in class together and me knows those saying, all right, Rashida, Deja, that's it. Us having
talking about it.
Right. Us being Ghanaians are loving it.
But again, I just want to thank y'all for coming out to discuss just the Black diaspora with me. One very last question is, what are some last words of recommendation, some advice, or just some encouragement that you want to share with our listeners about this topic?
We're all one at the end of the day. You know, we all got the same mission: unity, equality.
At the end of the day, we are all one. If I have my kids, I want to think of myself as first generation American, or my kids are gonna be first generation American. So 2-3 generations down the line, they're gonna be American. So we need to know where we come from, how to support where we are as an African American community, and move, in the right direction.
And love yourself, love your culture. Like, something that I used to go through when I was a kid before pre-Rihanna, being that nobody knew where Barbados was for real. They always like, oh, where's that? Is that a part of Jamaica? So I found myself stifling who I was and my Caribbean culture until Rihanna came out. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm Bayesian, I'm Caribbean, but because it was lit. But but
okay.
There's the Ghanaian flag right there. Represent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but definitely represent. Like, it don't matter if you from buttfuck Alabama. You better rep that shit.
That's true. And okay, last question. Okay. Where can we find you guys? Social media, website, or anything? Where can we find you?
Well, my personal Instagram is Rooted in Sheeta. And if you would like any body butter scrubs, and all that natural good stuff, rootedinself.com. And my Instagram for that is rootedin_self.
Well, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. And my handle is Pajon, Paajohn.
My Facebook's on my friends. So.
Yeah, it's more Instagram now. Facebook be like a bunch of older people, my grandma and co.
Yeah.
So hit me up on Instagram, Pajon.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you guys for again coming out and discuss this with us. This is Black Diaspora. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Yay.
Thank you, Deja.
Bye.